Let's review Sage Accounts Payable functions. While this may be the most mundane and routine functions that we perform in an accounting system, it also is one of the most time-consuming. Let's talk about the power of how an AP system can better equip me to do my job. Let's look at the vendor file first. Within the list of vendor files, I need to be able to search on a vendor ID, a name, or any part of the address file. A good search feature is critical to this functionality. But let's dig a little deeper. Inside the actual vendor file, I'll be able to grab and classify vendors by the type of work that I do with them, as well as whether or not they are US-based or foreign. In developing vendor files, these are completely customizable to your environment. So you get the classifications and types that you need to see and sort. Let's talk about payments and terms. In this day of electronic processing, it is critical that I be able to process electronic payments quickly and easily through any ACH process, which allows me to pay vendors either individually or in group and to notify them when they actually are going to receive a payment from me electronically. The other process that we find near and dear is the ability to quickly code default expense and distribution codes. Distribution codes are a feature inside of most accounting products that allow you to create preset tables by either percent or unit that will quickly apply dollars without a user having to pick up a calculator. In building out these vendor files with these kinds of defaults, it makes data entry much smoother. Let's take a look at how this would work. I'm inside AP data entry in an invoice function. I'm going to key an invoice number. The system's going to give me the date. I'm going to override and put today's date in, and then I'm going to enter the dollar amount. I'm going to indicate the general nature of this work, and this was professional services for 1st to April 15th. My vendor in this case is going to be the city contractor, and it is a 1099 vendor, so the system is going to automatically identify this as 1099able. From here, I'm going to simply choose that I want to use the distribution code that's preset on this vendor. I can accept this, and my distribution is now complete. The system has done the data entry for me. This type of feature is one that we look for constantly when we're working inside of an accounting product, because speed in data entry is critical without having to pick up calculators. Additional features that we find helpful is the ability to do memorized documents, and when I have a memorized document, I may see the services exactly the same from period to period. I can modify the new document number, I can indicate the effective date, and I can change the dollar amount on this. So in this case, I'm quickly going to bring back a distribution, and it's going to follow all of the rules of what I needed to do for that accounting entry. The third and most functional item that we see and need on a regular basis is the ability to build what will be called recurring and memorized entries. I'm going to bring back this template of the one I just used. I also want to be able to tell the system when this recurs, how often, and I want to be able to tell the system when it ends. In this case, this is a one-year contract, and I want it to go through April the 15th of 2013. The system's going to allow this to now show up in my memorized entries and in my recurring entries. It will actually be in both. Let's go over to Session Manager and take a look at the functionality behind recurring entries. In a recurring entries feature, and this entry wouldn't be due yet, so I'm going to go ahead and take the status of due off so I can see the list of things that are out there and queued up for the future. I'll see the fact that this internet entry that I created for April the 15th, May the 15th, and on through the next year has already been generated for me. I will simply be able to choose this entry, tell the system to generate the next session and the next doc date for this transaction, and I'll be able to process from here. So the ability to quickly set up memorized and recurring entries is also critical to the functionality of an accounts payable process. So in building out and choosing your accounts payable, please make sure you identify those features that are going to streamline your operations and make you the most efficient.